So what is going on, guys? Welcome to another Garden Warfare 2 video. Today I'm going to be talking about the character balancing that we got yesterday on Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking about all of the character balancing changes in detail. If you do want to go check it out, I will leave the link down to the Plants vs Zombies website in the description, and you can go and read all of the balancing changes for yourself. Now I want to try and make this video as quick as possible so I do not bore you, so let's get straight in with today's video. So the first change we have is for the standard Cactus. Now the developers have said after the last round of changes the damage output from the Cactus is now too low for her to be an effective range specialist. These changes will bring her back to where she needs to be, and they will continue to monitor. And what they have done to the standard Cactus is the reloading time has been decreased from 2.25 seconds to 2 seconds, and her magazine capacity has also been increased from 10 to 12. The next change we have is for the Camo Cactus, and the developers have said the latest rounds of telemetry supports the community's feedback that the recent changes to the Camo Cactus were too severe. We've also undone those changes, however we have kept the improvement to her aim down sight speed at its current level to ensure players can still aim faster when zoomed in. So what they have done to the Camo Cactus is damage has been increased from 28 to 30. Moving over to the Frost Rose, the developers have said she was very close to where she should be as a support class, but was still having a little bit of trouble vanquishing enemies on her own. So we've bumped up her damage of her projectiles in order to give her a bit of a boost. So what they have done to the Frost Rose is they've increased the damage of her regular shot from 6 to 7.5, which is actually a huge change for the Frost Rose character. They've also increased the damage of her first charge shot from 30 to 33, and also increased the damage of her second charge shot from 45 to 50. The next character we have is Barbecue Corn, and the developers have said even when not factoring in his fire damage over time, his damage per second at close range was almost identical to the default Colonel Corn. They have reduced his effectiveness at close range to bring him closer to alignment with the other Colonel Corn variants. So what they have done is they've decreased close range damage from 6 to 5.5, and they've also decreased the damage fall off start and end distance from 15 meters to 10 meters and 30 meters to 25 meters. So what this means is you need to be closer to the zombies to deal the highest amount of damage. Moving over to the Citron character classes, we're going to start off with the default Citron. The developers have said the reason for the splash damage on his laser is to be able to shoot at the ground to counter smaller imps, but it made his weapon too effective against all targets. We have reduced the damage it deals, which also helps reducing his effectiveness at long range, and we have also reduced the radius of his splash damage to increase the skill required for him to damage enemies. And what they have done to the default Citron is they've decreased the fire damage from the Citron from 3.5 to 3. They've decreased the damage fall off start and end distance from 20 to 10 and 30 meters to 20 meters. So what that means is you're going to need to be closer to the enemy to deal that higher amount of damage. They've also decreased the splash damage radius from 1.26 to 0.5. So that's a huge difference in the splash damage radius. And they've also decreased splash damage from 6 to 5. So there is a lot of changes for the default Citron. Hopefully he's going to be a lot more balanced. Moving over to the Party Citron, the developers have said the same thing applies to the Party Citron as the default Citron, but we didn't reduce the actual laser damage because his damage when not in party time mode is already lower than the default Citron's damage. So what they have done is they've decreased the damage fall off start end distance from 25 meters to 10 meters and 35 meters to 20 meters. They've also decreased the inner blast radius from 1.25 to 0.49, and they've also decreased the outer blast radius from 1.26 to 0.5. So there's a few changes with the Party Citron as well. Moving over to the Frozen Citron, and probably one of the most overpowered characters in the game, the developers have said we have reduced his range damage. He was also freezing enemies too quickly, so we have lowered his freezing rate. So the damage decrease at far distance has been reduced from 6.5 to 5.5. They've also decreased the damage fall off start end distance from 25 meters to 20 meters and 35 meters to 30 meters, and they've also decreased the freezing amount per shot from from 0.125 to 0.11. So they've changed how quickly Frozen Citron is going to be able to freeze his enemies. The final Citron character to be changed is Electro Citron. The developers have said that Electro Citron currently takes too long to vanquish enemies. His damage per shot wasn't as effective as a fully automatic Citron, so they have increased the damage for all of his projectiles. They've increased his close and fair damage from 8 to 10 and 6 to 8 for a regular shot. They've also increased the splash damage of his first charge shot from 25 to 30, and they've also increased the splash damage of his second charge shot from 40 to 45. So they haven't actually increased the damage of a direct hit for his charge shots, but they have increased the splash damage of them and also increased the damage of the regular shots. So those are all the changes for the Citron character classes and also for the plant classes. So we're now going to move over to the zombies. The first zombie change we have is for the Camo Ranger. The developers have said the Camo Ranger's damage was not where it needed to be, so we have given him a boost to his damage output to bring him closer to alignment with the other soldier variant. So they've increased his magazine capacity from 10 to 15 and also increased his start end damage from 14 to 15 and 12 to 13. So there's a tiny little damage increase, and also there is a magazine increase of 5 bullets as well. The next change we have is for the Tank Commander. The developers have said the changes to the Tank Commander made the character too underpowered, so we've increased his splash damage radius and also made him slightly more powerful when hitting direct impact shots at longer ranges. So they've increased the inner blast radius from 2 to 2.5, they've increased the outer blast radius from 4.5 to 5, and they've also increased the damage fall off start end distance from 15 meters to 20 meters and 40 meters to 45 meters. So what that means is you can be slightly further away from the plants and still deal that higher amount of damage. The next change we have is for the Wrestling Star. The developers have said the Wrestling Star is supposed to be a close range damage dealer, but after fixing the bug with these overheat upgrades, we were finding that he was unable to deal enough damage to enemies before overheating. So we have increased his damage output at close range to further reinforce his style. So they've increased the close range damage from 13 to 15. The next character is Breakfast Brains. The developers have said we were finding that since it is an ideal tactic to start punching slightly before engaging an enemy in order to reach maximum rate of fire, Breakfast Brains punches were overheating too quickly, and the overheat penalty time was too long. By reducing the heat generated per punch, he now takes 2 seconds longer to overheat by default, and 2 additional seconds longer to overheat with the upgraded applied. So they've decreased his heat generated per punch from 0.04 to 0.0325. So that means that you are going to be able to use your punches for an extra 2 seconds. They've also decreased the punch overheat penalty time by 1.4 seconds and also fixed a bug where heat upgrades weren't applying to his punches. The next change we have is for an ability, and this is for Captain Deadbeard's Parrot Pal. The developers have said that the Parrot drone does similar damage to the Garlic drone, but with the increased health of the Artichoke drone, so he's simply better all round than both the Cactus drone and the Artichoke drone. So they've reduced his health to 5 to bring him closer to priority with the Garlic drone. So they've decreased his health from 20 to 15. And the final change in this character balancing is the Tennis All-Star. The developers have said that he was still too effective at dealing damage, considering he is much faster than any other All-Star. So they've reduced his damage output to balance his speed. So they've reduced his close range damage from 7 to 6.5 and also reduced his damage fall off start and end distance from 20 meters to 10 meters and from 50 meters to 40 meters. So that means you need to be closer to the plants to be able to deal that higher amount of damage. But there we go, guys. Those are all of the character balancing changes that we do have in the recent update that came out yesterday. Let me know what you think about these in the comment section down below. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be very happy with the changes to the Citron characters. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be seeing there's a lot less people playing as the Citron because he's not going to be as powerful. You're going to be happy that Frost Rose has been increased, Barbecue Corn has been nerfed slightly, and the Cactuses have been changed as well. So let me know what you think about these in the comment section down below. If there's any characters that you think still need to be changed, let me know in the comment section, and I will let the developers know on Twitter, and maybe things will change in the future. So thank you very much for watching this video. My name is ZEROxFUSIONZ, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next time.